The wind moved slow that evening, carrying the scent of dust and dry sage across the lonely valley of Willow Creek. The sun sagged low behind the hills, painting the prairie gold and amber as if heaven itself were watching the land burn in beauty. A dark horse appeared first on the horizon, then the man atop it, tall, broad-shouldered, his hat casting a shadow over eyes that had seen too much loneliness. His name was Cole Maddox, one of the richest ranchers in the county, a man feared for his wealth, respected for his word, and known for collecting every debt owed to him. He rode with the weight of purpose that day, a folded letter in his vest pocket reminding him why he was there, to collect payment long overdue from a farmer named Eli Carter, a man who'd borrowed money when the land had turned cruel. Cole reached the Carter place just as the last light began to fade. The cabin stood small and tired, boards gray from wind and time. The corral fence leaned like an old man's back, and the only sound was the wind sighing through the pines. Cole dismounted, boots crunching on dry earth, expecting to see Eli step out with excuses ready. Instead, the door opened slowly, and a young woman appeared, her hair loose, her face pale but proud, a child in her arms and 4 others standing behind her. Their clothes were worn, their eyes hollow with hunger. Cole removed his hat. "Ma'am," he said, voice low, "I'm looking for Eli Carter." The woman's eyes flickered, grief first, then exhaustion. "You're too late," she whispered. "Eli's been gone 3 months now." Cole's chest tightened. "Gone where?" She swallowed. "Buried him myself past the cottonwoods. Fever took him fast." He stood there in silence, wind brushing the brim of his hat. "I'm sorry to hear that," he said. She nodded faintly. "If you came for the loan, I can't pay it. I barely keep the children fed." Cole looked at her and the way she held that child, the defiance and pain in her voice, and something inside him shifted. He had come to take what was owed, but standing before this widow and her children, he couldn't bring himself to do it. "What's your name, ma'am?" "Mary Carter," she said. He nodded slowly. "Mrs. Carter, I didn't come to take what little you have." She frowned, not believing him. "Then why did you come?" He looked toward the horizon. "To collect a debt. But I reckon I found something else instead." With that, Cole tipped his hat, mounted his horse and rode away, leaving behind a woman who had nothing but her children and a flicker of hope she hadn't felt in months. But that night, as the stars rose over the cold land, Cole couldn't sleep. The image of those children, the widow's trembling voice, they haunted him. He was a man of means, but not without a heart. So at dawn, he saddled his horse again and headed back toward Willow Creek. The next morning, Mary woke to the sound of hooves. She stepped outside, shawl around her shoulders, and froze. There he was again, Cole Maddox, only this time he wasn't alone. Behind his horse trailed a small wagon filled with flour, beans, sugar, blankets, and firewood. "You brought all this yourself?" she asked, stunned. "Town's too far to trust anyone else," he said, unloading the supplies. "A man can't sleep knowing 5 children are going hungry." Tears filled her eyes. "I've got nothing to give you." He looked at her gently. "Didn't ask for anything." From that day on, Cole kept returning. He fixed the roof, mended the corral, taught the boys how to work the tools their father had left behind. He brought laughter back to the cabin, the kind that had been missing since Eli's grave had turned cold. Mary found herself waiting for his visits, for the sound of his horse's hooves, for that calm, kind voice that made the world feel less cruel. And Cole, he found something too, a reason to stop counting coins and start counting blessings. One evening, as the light turned gold, Mary brought him coffee. Their hands brushed, and for a heartbeat the whole world stopped. "You don't have to keep coming," she said softly. "I know," he replied, "but I want to." Their hearts began to speak a language words couldn't carry. He told her about his past and about losing his wife to childbirth. She told him how she buried her husband with her own hands. 2 broken souls began to find warmth again, piece by fragile piece. Then came the winter storm. The youngest child, little Tommy, burned with fever. Mary fought all night to save him, but the firewood ran low and her hope began to fade. At dawn, she was outside in the snow, trying to hitch the mule when Cole appeared again, breathless, riding through the storm like a man racing time itself. Without a word, he lifted the boy into his arms, wrapped him in his coat, and rode for town. Mary followed hours later and found him beside the doctor's fire, holding Tommy's hand. The boy lived, and something in Mary's heart changed forever. As spring returned, Cole stayed near. He built fences, planted seed, and filled the place with laughter again. Then one evening, under a sunset that looked like heaven spilling light over the earth, he turned to her and said, "Mary, I came here once to collect a debt, but I reckon I owe one now to you and those kids, for reminding me what home feels like." Mary's eyes filled with tears. "What are you saying, Cole?" He took off his hat, his voice quiet and sure. "I'm saying maybe it's time I stop riding alone." The children laughed in the distance. Wildflowers danced in the wind, and Mary finally smiled, not out of survival, but from something deeper. "You sure about that?" she whispered. Cole nodded. "Never been sure of anything." She reached for his hand. "Then you better stay a while." And in that moment, the rich rancher who came to collect a debt found something money could never buy: love, family, and redemption beneath the wide western sky. For viewers, if this story touched your heart, if you believe love, courage, and kindness still matter in this world, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Every story here is made to touch your soul, remind you of hope, and keep the spirit of humanity alive. Hit the like, share, and bell icon, and join our growing family of story lovers today, because somewhere out there, another story like this one is waiting, just for you.